Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, stand before you with a topic making of Indian Constitution and its objectives. It is found in plus 3 second semester Ethics and Value paper. I want to inform my viewers that the making of the Indian Constitution and its objectives, it is found in plus 3 second semester of the paper Ethics and Values. And before I start my video on the topic Indian Constitution, the making of Indian Constitution and its values, I want to inform my viewers that my channel name is Dilip Kumar Pal 9375. If you will search this channel in Google, you will find more than 460 videos relating to plus 2 first year political science and plus 2 second year political science, plus 3 first semester political science honors, up to plus 3 sixth semester political honors, and many videos of environmental studies of plus 3 first semester, and some videos of ethics and values of plus 3 second semester. I request my viewers that if you have subscribed my channel, it is alright, so that you will get benefit. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe for your benefit. And those of your friends who are in above classes, aware them about this channel, so some students will be benefited. A little bit help to anybody is considered to be a great humanitarian activity. And any video you want, just write my name Dilip Kumar Pal in YouTube. You will get both the Odia and English video. If any video will get in Odia, be sure that its English version is also available. Any video you will find in English, be sure that its Odia version is also available in YouTube. Let us start. Making of the Indian Constitution and its objectives. It means how Indian Constitution has been originated, how Indian Constitution has come into existence. It has been made by the Constituent Assembly, how the Constituent Assembly has come into existence, and its composition. First of all, we will discuss origination of Indian Constitution, how Indian Constitution has come up, how it has come up by Constituent Assembly. Then composition, how Constituent Assembly is composed or was composed. Then functions, how Constituent Assembly function to prepare the Constitution. Finally, the criticisms of the Constituent Assembly, and finally, objectives of the Indian Constitution. Let us start. How Indian Constitution has been originated. According to Jelinek, a scholar, according to Jelinek, a state without constitution would not be a state, but a regime of anarchy. A state without a constitution will not be a state, but a regime of anarchy, means lawlessness. So a constitution is not a fashion, but a necessity. A constitution is not a style, but it is a need. So Aristotle once told, to live by the rule of the constitution ought not to be regarded as slavery, but as celebration. So a constitution is necessary for a state. So how the Indian Constitution has come into existence? According to Jelinek, a state without a constitution will not be a state, but a regime of anarchy. It means a constitution is a must for a country. It is not a fashion or style, it is necessity. And according to Aristotle, to live by the constitution, ought not to be regarded as slavery, but of salvation. It means a constitution is a need for a state. Without a constitution, a state cannot be a state. So, for India also, there is a need of a constitution. So, how Indian constitution has come into existence? Origination of Indian constitution. In 1927, M.N. Roy, for the first time, viewed for a constituent assembly for the country, but his view was not given weight by anybody. For every country, a constitution is necessary. India is not an exception. For India also a constitution is necessary. But how Indian constitution came into existence? In 1927, M.N. Roy, Manavendranath Roy, for the first time, Manavendranath Roy, for the first time, demanded for a constituent assembly to frame the Indian constitution. But his view was not given weight. In 1934, for the first time, Indian National Congress (INC) demanded before the British government for a constituent assembly, but there was no response. M.N. Roy was the first time demanded for a constituent assembly for the country. He felt that for Indian constitution, a constituent assembly must be formed. But his view was not given weight. In 1934, Indian National Congress for the first time demanded for a constituent assembly for India to prepare Indian constitution. But British government did not listen. Again, in 1936, Indian National Congress demanded for a constituent assembly, but British government again remained silent, gave no response, took no interest. In 1940, August, British government agreed in its August offer for a constituent assembly for India. In 1927, M.N. Roy demanded for the first time for a constituent assembly for India to frame the constitution, but his demand was not given weight. In 1934, Indian National Congress demanded for a constituent assembly before the British government, but British government did not listen. Again in 1936, Indian National Congress demanded for a constituent assembly. Again British government did not listen. In 1940, August, British government agreed for a constituent assembly for India in its August offer. Again in 1942, Cripps mission, when came to India, it also agreed for a constituent assembly for India to frame the constitution. And finally, in 1946, Cabinet mission recommended for a constituent assembly for India. In 1946, when Cabinet mission came to India, it recommended for a constituent assembly for India. And this constituent assembly prepared Indian constitution. So this is all about the origination of Indian Constituent Assembly to frame the Indian Constitution. Now discuss composition, how Indian Constituent Assembly was formed. It was decided that in the Constituent Assembly there will be 389 members. From it, 292 seats will be for British Indian provinces. It was decided that how Indian Constituent Assembly was composed. It was decided that in the Constituent Assembly, there will be 389 members. From it, 292 seats will be for British Indian provinces. 292 seats will be for the British Indian provinces. 4 seats for chief commissioners of province. And 93 seats for princely states. It was decided that in the Indian Constituent Assembly there will be 389 members. From this, 292 seats will be reserved for the Indian princely states Indian provinces, British Indian provinces. 4 seats will be reserved for the chief commissioners of province, and 93 seats will be reserved for the princely states. Again, out of 292 seats, 210 seats will be for general candidates, 78 seats for Muslims, and 4 seats for Sikhs. When the election was held, out of 210 seats, Congress got 199 seats, Muslim League got 73 seats out of 78 seats. 70 seats. So, out of 210 seats, Congress got 199 seats, Muslim League secured 73 seats out of 78 seats allotted for it. So, many other seats got by Congress begged candidates. So, Congress party got 199 seats, Muslim League got 73 seats out of 78, and many other states got by Congress begged candidates. But Muslim League's 73 candidates and candidates of princely states decided not to join in the Constituent Assembly. Muslim League's 73 candidates and princely states, for them 93 seats were reserved, they decided not to join in the Constituent Assembly. So finally, Congress and its begged candidates, 211 and 12 independent candidates, joined in the Constituent Assembly. When Muslim League decided not to join in the Constituent Assembly, princely states also decided to boycott the Constituent Assembly. So 211 seats of Congress and 12 independent candidates, total 223 seats, 223 members, joined in the Constituent Assembly for the first time on 9th December 1946 under the chairmanship of Sachidananda Sinha, and after 2 days, on 11 December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad became its chairman and became its president, and V.T. Krishnamachari and H.C. Mukherjee as vice president. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad became its president, and V.T. Krishnamachari and H.C. Mukherjee became vice president. So it is how Indian Constituent Assembly was formed. So we are clear how Indian Constituent Assembly came into Indian Constituent Assembly has been originated. We have discussed how Indian Constituent Assembly has been formed. Now we'll discuss how it prepared the Indian Constitution. On 13 December 1946, Nehru introduced objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly. It was passed on 22nd January 1947. When Constituent Assembly was formed, on 13 December 1946, Nehru introduced objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly, and objective resolution was passed on 22nd January 1947. Objective resolution means some guiding principles to maker of the Constitution to keep in mind at the time of framing of the Constitution. So, objective resolution was introduced on 13 December 1946. It was passed on 22nd January 1947. So, what is the objective resolution? Objective resolution means some guidelines to framers of the Indian Constitution to keep it in mind while framing the Constitution. So, what are the objective resolution? India will be an independent, sovereign republic. The constitutional makers should keep in mind at the time of preparing Indian Constitution that India will be an independent, sovereign republic. It will be a democratic country. It will ensure citizens justice, equality, freedom. It will safeguard interest of minorities, tribes and backward and depressed class. It will work for world peace and welfare of mankind. The famous of the Indian Constitution, while preparing the Indian Constitution, must keep it, all these things in their mind. By keeping it in their mind, they should proceed to prepare the Indian Constitution. The Constitution Assembly, to prepare the Constitution, the Constitution Assembly, to prepare the Constitution in a systematic manner, form various committees by taking its members, and they are told to place their unanimous views before all members of the Constituent Assembly, and the final decision of the Assembly will be written down by a drafting committee of 7 members, like B.R. Ambedkar, a chairman, K. Munshi, member, S.M. Sadullah, D.P. Ikatian, N. Madhav Rao, Krishna Iyer, N. Gopal Swamy Iyengar, a member. So, how the Constituent Assembly prepared the Indian Constitution? First of all, the Constituent Assembly divides members into various committees, and members were told that they discuss everything in their committee, and their unanimous decision will have to be placed before the Constituent Assembly, and which the Constituent Assembly will agree, that will be written down by a 7-member drafting committee under the chairmanship of B.R. Ambedkar. And B.N. Rao acted as Chief Constitutional Advisor of the drafting committee. And the drafting committee was formed on 25th August 1947. On 26th November 1949, the Constitution was finally adopted and enacted. On 26th January 1950, the Constitution came into force. It took 2 years, 11 months, 17 days to prepare the Constitution. Out of 7635 proposed amendments, 2473 amendments were moved. It sat for 165 days and 11 sessions, and 6.4 million was incurred. Final Constitution has 395 articles and 8 schedules. So, in this way, the Indian Constitution was prepared by the Indian Constituent Assembly. Now discuss some criticisms of the Indian Constituent Assembly. It is criticized as elephantine in size. Indian Constitution has been criticized as it is elephantine in size. The first criticism of the Indian Constituent Assembly is that it has prepared a constitution for India, but the Constitution of India is large in size because it had 395 articles, 8 schedules. So it was described as Indian Constitution is an elephantine in size. Number 2, it is criticized as lawyer's paradise. Indian Constitution has been criticized as lawyer's paradise because in the drafting committee all are the lawyers, and they have prepared the Constitution in their lawyer's version. So it is described as lawyer's paradise because it cannot be understood by ordinary persons. Number 3, it lacks popular approval. When Indian Constitution was prepared, without referring to the people, it was enforced. So it is criticized as it lacks popular approval. Now discuss objectives of the Indian Constitution. What are the objectives of the Indian Constitution? Number 1, it decides how government will be formed. The first objective of the Indian Constitution is that it decides how the government will be formed. Number 2, it provides some rights to people to which no government can take. The first objective of the Indian Constitution is that it decides how government will be formed. Number 2, it provides some rights to people to which no government can take. Number 3, it puts condition for the government to fulfill ambition society and form a just society. It puts before the government a condition that it should fulfill ambition society and establishes a just society. 4, it provides various organs and structure of government. 5, it provides procedure for the government to rule. It provides a procedure to the government how to rule. 6. It provides some basic rules through which country will be governed. It provides some basic rules through which country will be governed. Finally, its object is to make India sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. The objective of the Indian Constitution is to make India a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So, in this video we have discussed making of the Indian Constitution and its objective. It means how Indian Constitution was made. It was made by a Constituent Assembly. How Constituent Assembly has come into existence. Number 2, composition, how Indian Constituent Assembly was formed. Then functions, how Indian Constituent Assembly prepared the Constitution. Finally, how Indian Constituent Assembly and its Constitution was criticized. Then we have discussed objectives of the Indian Constitution. Thank you. Have a nice day.